Welcome, dear viewer, to another soul-stirring and eye-opening story on this channel. Whether you are returning or watching for the first time, we deeply appreciate your time and support. Every like, every comment, every prayer, it keeps this mission going. Today's story is one that mirrors real life in many families, a story of betrayal, greed, and the God who fights for the oppressed. In a world where wealth can divide and power can corrupt. What happens when a man dies? And the wolves in the family rise? Stay with us till the very end, because what starts with wickedness ends with a testimony of divine justice.
Father, thank you for the life of your servant, Brother Abdul. As we gather to honor his legacy and steward what he left behind, give us unity, wisdom, and peace. In Jesus' name. I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone for coming out and coming together to pay my brother his last respect. We all know my brother wasn't just a man of wealth, he was a man of vision, of character. This estate, this family, this name. He protected it with every breath. It is now left to us, the ones he trusted, to ensure that his legacy doesn't scatter like chaff in the wind. That everything he labored for continues to flourish. That's why I've taken it upon myself to help guide this family into the future. We must protect what he built, not tear it apart. This isn't about power. It's about stewardship. About doing what is right for the family, and for the name Abdul. If we're ready, I shall now read the last will and testament of the late Mr. Abdul Adayemi. This is the last will and testament of Abdul Adayemi. I, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare the following as my final wishes. To my beloved wife, Rebecca Adayemi, I leave the main estate and all household properties therein, to be hers for life, and upon her death, to pass jointly to my children, Daniel and Ruth. To my son Daniel Adayemi, I leave the shares and directorship of Adayemi Holdings, and to my daughter Ruth, I leave the publishing rights to my manuscripts, journals, and lecture archives. To my brother Matthew, I leave the sum of $10,000 as a token of my gratitude for his support over the years. I request that he remain an advisor to my children if and only if they choose to involve him. This concludes the formal reading of the will. If there are no legal objections, the distribution will begin in 7 days. Let us remember, in all this, that peace is more valuable than gold. A family divided cannot inherit unity. $10,000? 10. After everything. After all I did for him.
Matthew, it was his will. You know Abdul had his reasons.
Reasons? What reasons, Grace? Did I not stand by him when everyone else doubted him? Did I not sacrifice my own business to help him build his empire?
But it was his empire, not yours.
It should have been ours. I was the strategist, the voice behind the curtain. And he throws me a token like I was some lowly worker.
Perhaps he feared your ambition.
Ambition isn't a crime, unless the one in power feels threatened. He wanted his children to be kings, but he forgot who built the throne.
So, what are you going to do now, Matthew?
I don't know yet. But I won't be sidelined. Not like this. His children think they can run a business of that scale. Ruth with her books and Daniel with his stiff neck.
They have support. Pastor Emmanuel. The board. Even Cole.
I have influence too. Chindu has been studying finance. Miriam understands people. We have what it takes. And if the law doesn't favor us,
Matthew.
Let the games begin. Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning. You were up early again.
Couldn't sleep. The board meets in a few days. I want to make sure we understand everything Dad left in motion.
I found one of Dad's notebooks in the drawer upstairs. His last entries were about expanding the scholarship fund. He had plans to double its reach.
That sounds like him. Always thinking beyond the company.
But you know this won't be easy, right? Uncle Matthew didn't take the will lightly. I saw his eyes yesterday. Cold. Calculated.
I know. But we can't lead out of fear. Dad trusted us. We do the work, honor his principles, and keep our eyes open.
And what if he starts to stir the waters? You know Uncle Matthew doesn't like being excluded from power.
Then we pray. And we prepare. I already spoke to Barrister Cole. We'll be reviewing every clause in that will. Transparency is our defense.
And unity.
Yes. We move as one.
This is what Dad wrote in the jotter. My children will face trials. Not from outside, but from within. If they choose truth over comfort, they will carry my name with honor.
Truth over comfort. That was Dad. Even when it hurt him. Even when it cost him relationships.
And now it's our turn. To make hard decisions. To protect this legacy, not with control or manipulation, but with character.
You know, when I was a boy, I asked him why he didn't take shortcuts like others. He said, because what you build on lies will collapse under truth.
And he was right. Look at how many families crumble just chasing quick wealth.
That's why we have to be wise, Ruth. We won't respond to manipulation with vengeance. We'll lead with vision and integrity.
And we won't let his memory be twisted by greed.
Do you see what's happening? Your uncle's empire. Passed on like it was a family heirloom, like a set of dusty books. But, they're his kids, Dad. Maybe it's only fair. Fair? What do you know about fairness? Life is not fair, son. It is about preparation. Strategy. Timing. The board may smile now, but if we place our moves right, they'll come looking for guidance. And what if they don't? What if they handle it well? Then we give them a little reminder that power isn't in titles. It's in influence. And I have spent years investing in that currency. You're saying we go behind their backs? No, son. I'm saying we speak to key people. Discreetly. Some of the board members feel uneasy. I can sense it. All we have to do is guide the uneasiness. You're asking us to manipulate. I'm asking you to observe. To listen. To be present. When emotion rises, reason retreats. That's when we'll be ready. You've always said the Adul name stands for something. Doesn't this tarnish it? On the contrary. I'm protecting it. From inexperience. From youthful pride. From mistakes that legacy cannot afford. Or from being led by someone who didn't get what he wanted. Watch your tone, Tulu. I'm not acting out of bitterness. I'm acting out of conviction. Your uncle trusted sentiment. I trust foresight. You may choose to follow me, or you may stand aside. But mark this, within a few weeks, the tide will turn. And when it does, we'll be ready to lead. To old friendships and the future of Adayami Holdings. Matthew, you always know how to host. But we both know there's more on the menu than pepper soup. You're right, Falana. I won't insult your intelligence. You see, the truth is, we are at a crossroads. Adul was a giant, and he left big shoes to fill. You think Daniel can't fill them? He's a good boy. Principled, even. But leadership, especially in times like these, requires more than principles. It requires precision. Strength. A network of mature oversight. You're saying he lacks experience? Experience, yes. But also, vision. What Adayami Holdings needs now is strategic restructuring. We have potential foreign investors in this. Ruth's passion projects might be noble, but we need profits, not poetry. But Ruth's initiatives have boosted the brand's public image. Her literary legacy work is attracting academic institutions. Public image doesn't guarantee sustainability. Let's be real, do you think investors care about cultural legacy? They want numbers. Margins. Expansion. And you believe you're the one to provide that direction? Let's just say I bring balance. Not to dethrone them, but to support, to advise. We need seasoned minds at the helm. You all have known me longer than they have. My loyalty has never wavered. Your loyalty? Or your ambition? Sometimes they walk hand in hand. You know this will stir controversy. The media still remembers the legacy talks. The children are under public watch. And all the more reason for seasoned counsel to ensure nothing cracks beneath the surface. Let me speak plainly, I'm not asking for a coup. Just cooperation. Daniel will come into his own. But not on the wings of blind loyalty. The company can't afford a slow learner at the wheel. This is not a classroom. It's the marketplace. I'll relay this to others. We'll think on it. Quietly. No promises. That's all I ask. Discretion and wisdom. To wisdom, then. Daniel, my son. I've been expecting you. That means, you already know? When the wind changes direction, the shepherd notices before the sheep do. I can feel it, sir. The board is shifting. Uncle Matthew's influence is subtle, but it's growing like roots under the soil. And what have you done? I've tried to lead with integrity. I've followed everything my father taught me. But it feels like principles don't count for much anymore. Principles are like seeds. They disappear under the dirt before they sprout. What you're feeling now is not failure, it's the breaking of the ground. But the pressure is mounting. Ruth is doing her best, but I don't want her caught in the fire. The board wants results. Uncle Matthew wants control. Let me ask you, do you want to lead? Or are you simply afraid of losing what your father built? I want to lead. But I don't want to fight dirty to do it. Then don't fight dirty. Fight wisely. There is a difference between being meek and being passive. Jesus was meek, but he flipped tables when the temple was defiled. Be strategic. Identify those you can trust. Pray for discernment. And don't be afraid to confront injustice, peacefully, but firmly. What if I fail? Then fail trying to do right. Better to lose honorably than to win with blood-stained hands. But I believe you won't fail, because you are not standing alone. Thank you, sir. I needed this. Let me pray for you.
Daniel, we can't keep playing nice while Uncle Matthew is rewriting the company from the shadows. I've seen 3 separate memos he's advised the board on, without our input.
I know. And I've just reviewed the audit trail for last quarter. There are subtle redirections of funds. Legal, but questionable. He's working the system.
Then we work with the truth. We expose it.
Carefully. We don't want to make it look like a family feud in front of shareholders. We need evidence. Cold, professional, and irrefutable.
I've started collecting statements. Mr. Olatunji in accounting is uneasy. He suspects something too.
Good. And I've scheduled a private meeting with Mrs. Talulu. If anyone is on the fence, it's her. She needs to hear the full vision, not the twisted version Matthew is feeding her.
And what about Chindu and Miriam?
We approach them separately. They're still undecided. But if they see how their father is manipulating the legacy, they might rethink where they stand.
You remember what Dad used to say?
A legacy is not what you leave behind, but who you leave standing.
Exactly. And we're standing. Not out of entitlement, but out of conviction. Then it's time to rise. Not with aggression, but with wisdom. With facts. With clarity. Then let's begin. For Dad. For the people who trusted him. And for those who will come after us.
This is not just about board votes or balance sheets. It's about the soul of this family's name. It's about truth standing firm when lies dress themselves in diplomacy.
It's about protecting the foundation, so it doesn't crack under pressure. Because once it does, legacy or not, everything falls.
We expose the truth, Ruth. But we also remind them who we are. We're not here because of inheritance. We're here because we're willing to fight for what's right.
With patience. With honor. And with faith.
What do you mean Mrs. Talou canceled the dinner? She confirmed it 2 days ago. No. Don't give me excuses. I need her confidence. Without her, the vote might swing the wrong way.
Is everything all right?
No. Everything is falling apart. The tide is turning and I can't stop it.
What's happening?
Daniel, he's winning them over. Tulu, Okoye, even Falana, they're all starting to doubt me. All this work. All this effort. Just slipping through my fingers like sand.
Maybe they were not doubting you, Matthew. Maybe they were choosing something deeper, integrity.
Don't lecture me on integrity, Grace. I've held this family together through storms. I've watched Adul get praise while I cleaned up behind him. You think anyone saw that? You think anyone noticed?
They noticed more than you think. But legacy isn't about applause, it's about what remains when the noise dies down.
I just want it to matter. For once. I gave years to this company. I bled for it. And now, I'm the outsider in my own story.
You are not the outsider. But you are choosing a path that leads you away from everything you ever valued.
I trusted the board. I trusted my influence. I had them. But now they speak to Danielle in hushed tones. They smile when Ruth enters the room. It's like I've become invisible all over again.
You're not invisible. You're afraid. But Matthew, fear cloaked in ambition still leads to ruin.
What should I do, Grace? Admit defeat? Step back and applaud while they take over what I helped build?
No. You step forward with humility. That's the only way you'll ever truly win, not just their respect, but your own peace.
Good morning. We're gathered to vote on the appointment of the primary executive director for Adayami Holdings. 2 proposals have been submitted, one for Daniel Adul, the rightful heir and son of the founder, and another proposing an oversight restructure with Uncle Matthew in an advisory leadership role.
Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge something. This company is not just numbers, it's legacy, it's faith, it's integrity. We've all seen what happens when ambition overshadows vision.
I second that. In recent weeks, I've watched Daniel work tirelessly, not just to protect the brand, but to honor the values his father built it on. That cannot be ignored.
And I suppose experience means nothing? You think a boy, idealistic and green, can weather the storms ahead?
He's not alone. He never has been. And storms don't break those rooted in truth, they refine them.
I never claimed perfection, Uncle. But I do claim conviction. And a heart that will never trade legacy for power. Very well. We will now proceed to vote. All in favor of Daniel Adul as the sole executive director. Majority carries. Congratulations, Daniel. Thank you all, for your faith, for your courage, and for believing that what we build on integrity will stand when the world shakes.
You haven't touched your food. It's getting cold.
Let it rot. What does it matter? Everything I built. Undermined in one meeting.
Matthew, please.
Don't please me, Grace. I gave this family everything. Years of my life, every strategy, every sacrifice, and they rewarded me by turning their backs.
They didn't betray you. They chose truth over manipulation.
Oh, is that what it's called now? Truth? Loyalty discarded for theatrics and sentiment? Mrs. Tulu, I groomed her for that board. Mr. Falana, he owes me favors. Okoye. I practically put him in that seat. Yet they voted for Daniel like I was some outsider.
They didn't see an outsider, Matthew. They saw a man being consumed by ambition.
I was supposed to lead. This was my moment. For once, to step out of Adul's shadow. For once, to be more than the younger brother.
but you became the shadow. In trying so hard to be the light, what are you fighting for now, Matthew? The company? Or your pride?
I don't know anymore.
What a powerful story. In a world where the loudest voices are often those driven by ambition, we must remember, true legacy is not measured by the wealth we gather, but by the values we uphold when no one is watching. It is easy to fight for power, to crave influence, to chase recognition. But the real test of character is what we choose when no one is clapping, when the applause fades, and all that remains is the echo of our choices. Uncle Matthew's story is not an isolated one. It is the story of many, of those who burn silently with the desire to matter, to be seen, to be crowned. But the path to peace is not found in the thrones we build, but in the humility with which we serve. Daniel and Ruth didn't just inherit a company. They inherited a principle, a moral code, a legacy of truth and grace. And in choosing to walk in it, they didn't just preserve their father's name, they gave it new life. So ask yourself, what are you building? And will it last? Will your legacy point others to the light, or leave them lost in your shadow? Thank you for watching The Inheritance. If this story spoke to you, stirred something within, or reminded you of what really matters, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe. Together, let's keep telling stories that challenge the heart, uplift the spirit, and illuminate the path of truth.